So it's been a minute since I uploaded a video, and so we're back on it, and for my great return, I figured we get to a card that we kind of missed, and that's the big ol' Boofer himself, Bouffalant EX, with the ability Boofer. Really, this video is just made so I can say Boofer as many times as possible. So what this ability is, it actually kind of sucks, but in combination with other things, it becomes really good, where this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks, and then we have the Gold Breaker attack for 3 energy, where we do 100 damage, but if our opponent's active Pokemon that we're attacking into is an EX Pokemon, then we do 100 more damage, so we'll get to hit for 200, which still isn't really a lot. But there's not only a way that we can boost our attacks in terms of their damage, but we're also going to be able to take advantage of the Boofer ability, and we're going to do that with the help of the ever so classic Munkidori and its Adrena Brain. So what we're going to be able to do is, because of our Boofer ability, we're going to be able to tank a bunch of hits, and then we're going to be able to move 30 damage off of that to make ourselves even tankier, but also boost the damage that we're going to be doing. But the reality is that we can't do it alone, and so what we're going to need is the Curly Wall ability from the regular Bouffalant, where our normal Pokemon are taking 60 less damage, which means we're taking 90 less damage every time we're attacked. And then if we have 2 Munkidori on the field, we're healing for 60 and adding 60 to our attack, so we're hitting for 260. And so that's super good for us. If we can get 3 Munkidori on board, then that's fantastic, but we can't always do that. And then we also run Ursaluna in order to kind of help in the late game, and it does a similar thing where we don't heal, we're only reducing 60 damage rather than 90, but we're a little bit beefier, and Munkidori is going to be able to heal that as well. One of the main things, though, that's really important, I've noticed with this deck, something that you may see in the list is Crushing Hammer. My theory with this deck is that you're never really going to do enough damage to, like, outpace somebody in a, you know, in an upfront damage war. And I've seen a lot of builds try to do that, and I don't think it's the right way to do it. What I've found is that most opponents have to attack into your Bouffalant like at least 3 times. And so a card that's been really annoying is actually the Handheld Fan, because every time they attack into us, we're going to actually move an energy off their Pokemon. And so what we can end up doing is we can move them to the bench. If it's really important, we can flip some heads on the Crushing Hammer and end up knocking some energy off, and to be really, really frustrating. And in some cases, make it so our opponent literally doesn't have a way to keep getting energy back in the deck. And so they just run out. And so they can't outpace us if we're knocking off their energy and using Munkidoris. So with those two things together, it works out really well in our favor. We can typically use Area 0 Underdepths as well to kind of expand our bench, get that 3rd monkey down, all that kind of stuff. We can use Ogerpon to stall if we have to. So yeah, that's kind of the strategy. And then I couldn't think of a better A-Spec to run, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm running Unfair Stamp right now, just again to just continue to be as annoying as possible. You could probably run other things, but like I didn't want to run Hero's Cape because we're already running the Handheld Fan, so that wasn't really going to work. And there wasn't any other ones that I like really liked. I'm trying out TM, the Turbo Energizer. It's worked out really well so far, but I've considered cutting it. So you could definitely consider doing that if you wanted. But yeah, this is the list, so it'll be down in the description below if you're interested in trying it out for yourself. It's a ton of fun, so I definitely recommend it. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support while I was away. I had a lot of stuff going on, you know, in my personal life, and with starting grad school and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of this got very, very delayed, but I want to thank you guys so much for the support that you guys all showed in the Discord and comments and all that kind of stuff while I was away. I really appreciate it, and it does mean a lot. So thank you guys so much for that. So I'm really excited to get this video out for you guys and try to get videos out as much as possible. Content will be a little bit slower going forwards, but I'm going to try my best to get as much out as I can for you guys and still stream at least once a week. And yeah, with that said, I do want to give a special shout out to the channel members. Thank you guys so much for that additional level of support. On top of everything, it does mean a lot. So thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, all right, we'll get into the video and I'll see you guys there. Peace. All right, we're into game number 1, and we're going to be going first. We're going to open Bouffalant. We can leave this stuff here. Obviously, opening Ursaluna doesn't feel great. Honestly, this hand feels pretty terrible. But we could potentially open Iono. Or, oh, oops, we're going second. I don't know why I said we were going first. We could potentially top deck Iono. That would actually be kind of nice. The Crushing Hammers are going to be really worthless in this matchup because our opponent's just going to want them in the discard anyway. But what we will be able to do, honestly, is just like, if they waste their recovery, so like there's already one Night Stretcher in the discard, we can assume they play 4. If they end up wasting the recovery, then they'll end up with no actual energy to attack with, which will be pretty funny. As well as the fact that like having Squawkabilly on board means that we can just start moving a whole bunch of energy to that if we have to as well, which is pretty good. There's one boss down. But even more than the Squawk, like we'll probably just stack them all into the Rubber Room and then look to boss the Rubber Room into the active and just kind of like hold it in place. So we see 7 energy already in discard. 1 on the active. Another Nest Ball. For nothing. Okay. Baller move. Respectable, respectable. I mean, honestly, we can just kind of like tank in the front with Ursaluna behind the curly wall. Hey, top deck Iono. So sick. Alright, we can throw this down. We'll go Crushing Hammer just to kind of do it. Cool. That may end up delaying them a little bit, if we're honest. And then we can go Iono here, hoping to hit like Munkidori Turbo Energizer. I mean, we didn't, but we kind of hit it. We could go Fan Rotom and make sure that we have Bouffalants. But I think getting Munkidori's fine here for next turn. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't feel like we're gonna get KO'd. 220 is still like a lot of damage for them to get to. Plus we're effectively like 250 because we're reducing 30. We see a Super Rod out of the deck, 1 Night Stretcher out of the deck, another energy onto the Charcadet, Rumbling Engine to draw them some more cards. If they whiff an evolution on this turn, that would be so good for us. I don't think they will, but if they do, that'd be super good. They unfortunately don't. We really do need to survive this deck. Or if they boss our Bouffalant and KO that, like the Bouffalant on the bench, that would be pretty good. But if they whiff this KO, it also is not bad. That sucks. Alright, that's pretty rough. If we had the curly walls, it like wouldn't have actually been that bad, but it's kind of okay. How many jet energy did they already use? 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, huge. So I think what we do is we go Nest Ball here. Ooh, Unfair Stamp would be kind of nice, actually. So I think we grab these. What we do is we go get rid of this and this. Ultra Ball. Ooh, our Fez is prize. Should have checked that in advance. Alright. I think we grab this then. What do we do here now that Fez is prized? Because that does make things more complicated. Alright, we grab this. We go Nest Ball for a Bouffalant. We go Handheld Fan, Dark Energy, Counter Catch the Rev, pass. Because they have 4 jet energy, so I don't predict they have like an active switch card in hand. Maybe they do, but I doubt it. I feel like they're probably gonna have to like attach 2. Retreat. There's 2 more energy to hand. Yep, there's 1. And if that's the case, like that works out really good for us. Because we have a new plan now. We literally just sit here with boss. When they bring in the Ceruledge after this double, like they place 2, retreat, they attack with Ceruledge, we move another energy over to the Rever Room. And then, or actually we probably just move it off this to, what are they going to Nest Ball here? Alright, they Nest Ball for nothing, so they're just burning cards, which is fine. I think we move it to the Squawk, and then we boss the Rever Room. Or we can move it to the Fez, actually. It's better for us to move it to the Fez. Yeah, we move the energy to the Fez, and then we just boss the Rever Room. Because they already got rid of a bunch of resources, and we know that they don't have a way to switch because they just attached 2 to retreat. We know that Super Rod is gone. So we'll throw that onto the Fez. We give up only 1 prize. And then, honestly, we can probably just leave the other... I guess this is fine. Another Dark Energy is nice. So when we just boss this up, throw an energy here, pass. And there's 1 attached. They pass back. We get an Iono. Honestly, I'll play this. Because if we can... Yeah, this is what I was looking for. If we can get a Crushing Hammer here... Alright, that's fine. We missed 1, but that's okay. We go for another one. We do hit that. So this is just another turn that they can't move the Rever Room. Then what I'm willing to do is go... energy down onto this. We'll pass. If I can find another Bouffalant, we can go Bravery Charm, actually end up living a turn. And that might help us just stall out like the last bit that we need. Because they don't have energy, like a way to get the energy back, I don't think. At least not enough, because there's no way they play a second Super Rod, and they haven't played it yet. Maybe they play 2 Stretcher, but I doubt it. So I think the energy management is like what's going to end up winning us the game here. Even in a matchup we probably shouldn't win, if I'm honest. But they overcommitted their resources like way too early. They were so worried on like getting the big attack off, where it's like they already had enough to do all the damage they needed. I can kind of just sit on this. I don't need to attack. If I attack, it just helps them. So I can just keep passing back and forth. The goal is to get like 1 more or 2 more cards in hand, that I can find myself 1 more Bouffalant. Just get like even tankier. Let me just throw Handheld Fan on and loop. Yeah, we can just kind of sit here. The other reason why I want 2 energy on board is because I can retreat this now if I have to. And if I can find a Night Stretcher, yep, alright, so there's the concede. I was going to say, what I can do is if I can find like the Night Stretcher or something, I can get the other Bouffalant and then potentially go for like Ursaluna and just have something super tanky in the active. They're going to have to attack like 2 times to get the extra prize card, and I can just throw like slap like a Handheld Fan on and just be super annoying. So dumb game 1, but and kind of an easy one. They just kind of threw it super hard, but hey, it's Bouffalant versus Ceruledge. I'll take all the advantages I can get. But yeah, this is gonna be game number 1, and we'll jump into 2 in a second. I'll see you guys there. Peace. All right, we're into game number 2. Our opponent's gonna be going first. And we'll see what we're up against in a moment. We do open Munkidori with a Dark Energy, so pretty good. If we can get into Latias, move this out for free, or hit our Switch, that would be super ideal. We see a Hoot on the other side. We do get an Artazon as well, which is kind of nice. Nest Ball. For a Fan. They go for the Fan Call. Let's see a bunch of Noctowls, and we just Iono them all away. That'd be pretty cool. Noctowl Ditto. Interesting. Okay, there's a Lottie. Something that it's a 2-prizer we can take KOs on with a little Munkidori adjustment. Transformative Start. This will tell us if it's Raging Bolt, which would be my guess from what we've seen. Which ironically is actually not that bad, because if we can just be really annoying and stack all the fighting energy onto... Oh, it's just straight Terapagos. Okay. That's actually also not... Actually, that's maybe a little better. They go Energy Attach for turn. If we can hit this Crushing Hammer, that's huge. Because they play very limited other energies that aren't like... Oh my god, hitting the Switch is so good there. Bang! And heads on the... We're so good. You cannot out-top deck the dog. Like, just an absolute unit of a player that I am. Honestly, I'm fine going... I want to go Switch really badly to move this out of the active. But I'm way less worried now, so I don't feel like I actually have to. I think I can safely just drop Iono. See, honestly, if I can get, like... If I get into TM Energizer as well, that'd be super good for me. Unfortunately, I didn't. But all of this is fine. I'm honestly okay just passing. I can go Artazon for another Bouffalant. Energy attached for turn. Go Munkidori. Yeah, I can go Arven on the next turn. TM Energizer. Feel pretty confident that I keep my Munkidori, get my Bouffalants, get that all set up, and kind of rock out from there. Honestly, I'm fine with that. We can go Energy Attachment, Artazon. Yeah, they're just gonna FF. That's so funny, man. It's like, if your plan is just to sit there with Cornerstone, you're not gonna do enough. Like, I'm just gonna outpace you. That's really, really funny. Alright, sick. On to the next one. Crushing Hammer is such a dumb card. Alright, game number 3. Going in. The real goal here with this deck is that if I can, at any point, make my opponent sit there and softly say to themselves, that's bullshit, that's all I'm hoping for. And I feel like I've achieved that so far. So we'll see if we can do it one more time, and I'll see you guys in game number 3. Peace. Alright, we're in game number 3. Our opponent chose to go first. And so here we are. We got our bull down. Oh, alright. We're really trying, I promise. Alright, there we go. This is an interesting... Ooh. Interesting. So it's going to be the Skeledirge deck. That's pretty fun. We do get a monkey. It's pretty cool. I'd like to be able to go Crispin on this turn and start powering things up, but I also don't really want to get rid of the things that I have. Just swear Squawkabilly would feel really good. I get Fan Rotom. I guess one of my other bulls, but it doesn't really do much for me. I think I'm fine doing this, just getting like one of each. Just going Dark Energy for now and attaching here and passing. I think that's fine. Because they don't have much like energy they can use. So I think if I just get like a couple curly walls off, I think I'll be fine. Like if I can set curly wall up and just start moving some energy, honestly the Iono there is pretty good for me. Okay, honestly that's pretty good. So I can just Nest Ball out one more Bouffalant, throw some Crushing Hammers down to be annoying, and then Iono, and like I'm totally fine with that. And if they retreat and go Badoo, that's also okay. Because I already have the Dark Energy down on the monkey. So I'm going to be able to start moving this damage regardless. Even if I'm item locked, I don't really care that much. The Crushing Hammer doesn't do much for me in this moment because they had to get rid of their energy anyway. And we get Lottie. We're so good at this game. Yeah, I just drop Iono here. If I can get into another Bouffalant, that's super good. Look at that. Is there anything we can't do? No, we just start powering this up. Because, like, the problem is that Bouffalant kind of sucks when we're not attacking into EX Pokemon. Because we're only doing 100 damage. But in this matchup, it's never going to matter because like their most, the most HP they have is like 50. Or like, I think, yeah, I was going to say 100 on the Grookey. So we're still KOing that with Gold Breaker anyway. So like, we're chilling. And even if they get the Festival Lead attack off, since we're going Fan, they're not even going to be able to do the wave twice anyway. So I think the play is that we just stack a bunch of energy onto the Badoo and then just leave it. Just leave it on board to be super annoying. And after that, we just start, if they bring Badoo back in and just start attacking, then we just heal the 10 damage over and over and over again. Yeah, I think the play is like we just make one more Munkidori. And we just stack a Dark Energy on it and sit. Force them to have bosses. They're just not going to have enough to replace. I think that's the path, right? Because even if they go... Yeah, they go Rapid Draw here. That doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think we can just sit here. I could go Ultra Ball for the other monkey, but it doesn't really do anything for me right now. I can move the 10 damage, I guess. I'm fine moving it on to the Skeledirge, just so I can set that up for later. I guess I could Penny as well, just to get the Handheld Fan back. Put that on the Bouffalant, since Bouffalant's just like a little bit tankier. Like we're resisting more damage. And the fact that we just see that they don't have Max Belt, I genuinely don't see how they ever KO us, ever. Like, I'm pretty sure we just win by deck out at bare minimum. Because the only thing they could do is, like, boss up Lottie, I guess. Like, that's possible. So I think on the next turn... Yeah, because Skeledirge comes in, that is going to do extra damage. But if they're attacking with the Rapid Draw, they're just going to deck themselves out. Because this does 60 more damage. Earthen Vessel comes in to find themselves the fire energy. We can always just play a new Bouffalant in, bring our Bouffalant EX into the active. they're not going to be able to get past that. And then with the Handheld Fan, we just move the Dark Energy off anyway. Because even now, they go Rapid Draw, they hit for 120. Or sorry, they hit for 60 because we're gonna move the energy off with the Handheld Fan regardless, unless they put an extra one on right here. Which they didn't do. So now we Handheld Fan, throw that onto the Rotom, or not the Rotom, the Bidoof, which stops them from being able to actually do anything. Then what we do is we just start moving this onto that, and then we retreat, bring this in, Handheld Fan, and just kind of chill, I think. Yeah, I think that's fine. Because you can only do this so many times. Especially if you have to give up an energy every single time to attack with the Skeledirge, or to use the Skeledirge. I don't think it's going to matter. And if they boss and put damage on the Lottie, we just penny it. So yeah, this game is over, I'm pretty positive. Because even if we have to, we can penny pick this up, just put Ursaluna in the active, where we're just going to be super bulky. Yeah, they bossed the Lottie here. Oh, never mind, they bossed the Monkey. So they take a prize card that actually lets us Unfair Stamp. But I'm fine just bringing this back in. They attack again, I assume. I guess the play would be to not attack, actually. They do the 60. Move that energy back onto the Bidoof. We get another Monkey. We could go Unfair Stamp here. I don't really feel like it's that necessary. Because the goal is kind of just to go for deck out, but I do want to be able to heal my Bouffalant really badly. I don't have Penny. I guess I could Penny to pick this up. Yeah, I can't get KO'd anyway, I don't think, so it's fine. I can leave it for a turn. On the next turn, go Penny, bring something in, go Unfair Stamp, retreat, like, place it back down. Because I'm only taking 60 damage, so it's not that big of a deal. And if this comes in, this does 160 plus another 60 minus 90. So I should live, I'm pretty sure. And even then, they need an energy to retreat and another energy to attach. They can't air balloon to it. So this is going to be a bit of a longer game. They Lana's Aid for 1 energy. That feels so bad. They retreat. Are they going to just start going Bidoof? Digipollen for nothing. Well, then we can just pass. Eventually we'll find a dark energy, or they'll deck out before us, I guess. Because they have to do damage for our fan to move anything. So I think maybe they were thinking if they attacked with the Bidoof, I'd have to move the energy. But even then... Okay, they go for another Lana's Aid. That's the main thing, is like there's no energy in the discard. Is the worst part of this for them. So they do manage to get the KO. We just put another energy onto that. They clearly don't have much left. We bring Bouffalant in. Don't really want to Unfair Stamp here, if I'm honest. kind of just want to bring in another Bouffalant, just set that back up. But at the same time, I do kind of want to Unfair Stamp. Yeah, I think I can get rid of these. Wait, is... actually... I do have room for Monkey. I actually don't want any of this. I just want a way to get into Monkey. I think is the play. Ooh. Crushing Hammer. Nice. We get rid of this. That just traps this. We can go Dark Energy. And then I think I'm fine. Yeah, I'm gonna go Super Rod here. Put all this back in. We'll go and move 30 onto that. And then just pass my turn. Because there's no way they get an attack off. They have to find a way to retreat. Which they need 1 energy on that anyway. They do have the switch. But even then, there's not much they can really do. They bring the Sea King in with no energy attached. If they attack again with the Sea King, we do the exact same thing we did before. Just move it onto the Badoo. They're resorting to needing Jet Energy. And Festival lead for 2 more. Cool. Again, not really getting anywhere. I do see a Bravery Charm. Alright, cool. So we get the Penny. I'm gonna just Penny to pick this up. Bring my Bouffalant in. Place this. Place this. Pass. So now, again, they will actually be able to do some damage. But when they do said damage, I'm just gonna move the energy off again. So, again, this game is over. It's been over for a while, but I feel like this video is gonna be a long one, specifically because of this game. My other opponents knew to concede, but not this one. And that's fair. You know what? I appreciate the determination. But out of the battle of jank decks, this one, I think this is the way to go. They Iono to extend the game out a little bit longer. But the problem, my friend, is that you will never actually be able to accomplish anything. I can attach that and go Crispin. We'll add this to hand. We can throw the fighting energy down. Because, I mean, I'm fine to start attacking, honestly. Just to, like, speed this up a little bit. I can go Nest Ball, grab myself 1 more Monkey. And pass. I can just throw a Dark Energy down onto the Monkey on the next turn. Or I can even just throw it onto... for the Gold Breaker. If they just attack with Badoo, we just pass. It doesn't matter. I'm not knocking out the Badoo. Yeah, like in that case, I just do that and pass. Because there's no world where I knock out this Badoo here and put 3 energy into the discard pile for them. I'd rather them be forced to work off the 1 if they have another Lunazade or Energy Retrieval or Super Rod or whatever. Like, there's no world where I let that happen. I'll boss around this before I actually end up doing anything. I forgot Sea King was 110 though. There's Fez. Alright, cool, pass. If this is what this is for the next 15 turns, then I'll probably just end the video here. Like, we'll we'll just go into the breakdown, but we'll see if this person has pure determination to just keep stalling the game indefinitely. Because, like, they gotta know, right? Because we just chest timer this at that point, too. I guess it's our, well, I was gonna say, I guess it's our fault for playing the Unfair Stamp. I guess I can play that. I guess it's our fault for playing the Unfair Stamp earlier, but at the same time, it's like they had Ionos anyway, so like I guess it didn't really matter. I was thinking like in terms of like stalling this game out or like extending this game out, but all right, we'll throw this down, pass. And now we literally don't play any cards unless they have, like, just in case they have Iono. Because they're at 21, we definitely outpace them, but like we don't want to start just like thinning our hand for no reason. It's just going to be 11 more turns of this, I'm sure. Bouffalant forever, baby. The ultimate war of attrition, actually, is just happening in front of our eyes. Alright, thank you, dude. Like, come on. Alright, cool. So, that's game number 3. We'll jump into the breakdown in a second, and I'll see you guys there. Peace. Alright, so getting into the breakdown for Bouffalant EX, I think this deck is a ton of fun, mostly just because I love flipping heads on Crushing Hammer and just being annoying. I think it's really funny. And sometimes that's just what you need in life. It's kind of like Wug Trio. If there's a way to flip coins, I'm going to be a part of it. So I like this deck a lot. It's really fun. That being said, it is bad, like objectively. It's a ton of fun, but going into like your power, I got to give it a 2 out of 5. You hit for almost nothing most of the time. And when you are hitting for big damage, it's because something already attacked into you, and then you're just using like triple Munkidori to make Bouffalant like actually do damage, which is why, like, that's kind of why like the power in this deck is lacking, and that's why we don't really focus on it. That's why we go for like the Crushing Hammers and the Handheld Fans and all that kind of stuff, because it just takes a little bit too much to get this card to hit hard and hit hard consistently with its 3 energy cost and things like that. If it was 2, it'd be a lot better, but that's fine. Going into consistency, this is going to be a 3 out of 5, because when you have your Handheld Fans and your other Bouffalants and all that kind of stuff set up, it's actually really annoying for your opponent to deal with. They're kind of stuck on boss and things like that. The problem is that sometimes you just can't get there, and I've really been considering more and more as I play with this to switch Arvens for research, so that way you can just dig deeper. We're pretty decent at getting a supporter every turn, or like hitting an Iono and things like that, because we also play the Pokégear, things like that. But I have considered going to like 3 Arven, 3 research, or just like dropping the Arvens, going for research potentially. I don't really know yet, but the option for like owls is there, but then I hate having to have Terapagos or the Cornerstone like on board before I can really use them. So that's why I don't play them, but I think research is probably a really good idea. Going into matchups are going to be a 2 out of 5 as well, but that's mostly because of the fact that like you really lose to Guardy like pretty hard, because your energy manipulation doesn't really matter all that much. And then one of the other issues that you kind of run into with this deck is the fact that like your Zard and Pult matchup are actually like not that bad because of the energy restrictions on them. You can be like really annoying. But some of your other matchups, even Dango is like playable because of the fact that you get to like move energy, like you get to move the metal energy off the Dango onto like a Genesect or something, and that's like super annoying for them. But for the most part, it's like your matchup spreads are like kind of rough, so it's more like up to you to navigate the energies correctly, more so than like having favorable matchups. But yeah, as a whole, this deck is, you know, unbelievably rogue, but unbelievably fun, especially if you can take some of those higher tier matchups. Think of like the Ceruledge that we fought in round 1. That was just like a ton of fun to be able to come out on top with, you know, a card nobody's using, and be able to beat a card like Ceruledge, which in theory should be a bad matchup for us. But yeah, that's going to be it for the breakdown for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to let me know what decks you want to see featured on the channel in the future, or what cards you want to see me build a deck around. With that said, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.